Hello and welcome to ThePrint. Today I shall be speaking about missile and rocket forces. One of the major defense reforms of recent years has been the creation of the post of Chief of Defence Staff or CDS. Announced by Prime Minister Narendra Modi from the ramparts of the Red Fort on 15th August 2019, it was put into effect when General Bipin Rawat, then the Chief of Army Staff, became the first CDS on 1st January 2020. Additionally, a Department of Military Affairs or the DMA was also created, with the CDS donning the hat of Secretary DMA as also permanent chairman of the Chiefs of Staff Committee or COSC. The various duties and functions assigned to the CDS include bringing about jointness in operations, logistics, transport, training, support services, communications, repairs and maintenance etc. of the three services, ensuring optimal utilization of infrastructure and rationalizing it through jointness amongst the services, and bringing about reforms in the functioning of the three services with the aim to augment combat capabilities of the armed forces by reducing wasteful expenditure. The mandate of the DMA inter alia also includes facilitation of restructuring of military commands for optimal utilization of resources by bringing about jointness in operations, including through establishment of joint theatre commands. This aspect has garnered the maximum attention in what is being referred to as theaterisation. However, the other three equally functions are being underplayed. There are many fields in which synergy between the services can be achieved in the interest of better operational efficiency through a more rational approach. Threats to a nation's security can manifest in different dimensions, and therefore the necessity of three branches, viz. The Army, Navy and Air Force. The US even has a fourth branch, namely the Marine Corps, which has all three elements under a single commander. These threats are dealt with utilizing the weapon systems at hand, land-based for land threats, aircraft for aerial threats, and ships and submarine for seaborne threats. However, over a period of time, there has been a cross-pollination of some of these systems which needs review, in keeping with the ever-changing character of warfare. One such field is in the management of rocket forces. It is generally accepted that if the target is on land, surface, and the weapon platform best suited to tackle that target is also land-based, then that weapon system or platform should form part of the Army inventory. Shore-based artillery, although targeting ships at sea, also traditionally came under the Army. This was also the philosophy when the BrahMos missile system or BMS was first developed. It is a medium-range supersonic cruise missile. Initially, there were no air-launched or sea-launched versions. However, much before these later service-specific versions came into being, the BMS regiments also came to be allotted to the Air Force. The targets being addressed by the BMS, whether of the Army or the Air Force, were similar and often duplicated, leading to the requirement of preparing joint target lists etc., an avoidable effort if seen through the prism of operational efficiency. Having similar units with two different services also significantly increased the back end, the logistics chain, maintenance effort and training requirement, resulting in redundancies and wasteful expenditure. This is precisely what was meant when the functions of the CDS included bringing about jointness in operation, logistics, transport, training, support services, communication, repairs and maintenance etc. As a first step, therefore, towards optimization, all land-based systems should be allocated to the Army and inter-service transfers effected as required in keeping with the overarching philosophy of dealing with land, sea and airborne threats, and totally within the purview of the Ministry of Defence itself. This is a low-hanging fruit and very much doable, with little or no financial effect. Posting army officers to Naval and Air Force units is only paying lip service to the idea of integration and not really achieving the desired synergy. However, the Navy and Air Force should continue with their ownership of ship-launched, including submarine-launched, and air-launched systems as the employment parameters differ. Going forward, the induction of conventional ballistic missiles is also on the cards. These should all form part of the Army inventory, and the temptation to give all three services a little bit of everything should be avoided at all costs. Even if India were to go in for a separate rocket force on the lines of the People's Liberation Army of China, the personnel manning such ballistic missile units would essentially be from the Army. This becomes even more relevant since there would be a fair deal of commonality in the two systems in the form of the launcher vehicle or command post vehicle, etc. Consequentially, maintenance and training requirements would automatically be that much simpler. For the Air Force, rockets of tertiary importance after aircraft and air defense systems. For the Army, the BMS or any other such system would be its most potent weapon due to its range and hence the topmost priority. In his book Red Teaming, Transform Your Business by Thinking Like an Enemy, Bryce G. Hoffman talks about the inherent dangers of trying to find a satisficing solution, a combination of the words satisfy and suffice, rather than an optimum solution. In trying to satisfy everyone, that is each of the three services, and giving each of them just enough to suffice for their immediate needs, it ends up being the worst possible solution. In trying to satisfy everyone, it ends up satisfying no one. While a satisfying solution may succeed in the business world, it can have disastrous consequences in war. The three services should therefore stick to what they know and do best and avoid inducting platforms that are not vital to their primary role and charter. It is in this context that the CDS, as the permanent chairman of the COSC, has a vital role to play to make decisions based on national interest and operational considerations rather than individualistic service requirements and yearnings. This is General Manoj Naravane for ThePrint.